When do you ever say tooting? I've never heard you
Well,
say
I just don't want to
tooting.
offend people if I say farting.
Because that's offensive.
Who knows nowadays, Lacey?
I don't think it's offensive as
we could get
some other-
canceled.
Well, hey guys, welcome on in. It is time for a podcast coffee chat. We do coffee chats once a month, usually on our channel. So we're going to incorporate it on here. We're going to drink coffee. We're going to chat about our week, what's been new. We asked you guys over on our Instagram. It's at our Z Roll. If you don't follow us over there, what are your questions? So we're going to answer a few of those for you guys as well today.
Yes. Now, before we start, let's talk about this fly.
I literally can see it going over your head.
We've been talking about this fly for, 6 months, it seems like.
Have we come up with a
Steven.
name for him yet?
His name is Steven.
Okay.
I'm just surprised he's still
He lives
alive.
here.
It probably is a different fly. They probably tag teamed.
Right.
But it looks like Steven. So
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
know. It's just really frustrating. And he's everywhere.
He's back. How are you guys doing with the fly season?
We're not doing good over here.
Drives me
They're
nuts.
winning, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to kind of die down a little bit.
With the colder weather coming in.
But
so.
they're still, they're inside now because they
Mhm.
realize that we need warmth. But good old Steven,
Right.
he's just right here.
There he
See?
is. He's back.
He's back. So
Anyways,
if you're watching, you see that.
As much as you guys want to hear us talk about flies, let's just kind of recap our weekend. So I was out of town this weekend. I went up to Cascade, Idaho.
Cascade,
and we
Idaho.
had
That's how they say it.
Cascade, Idaho.
Cascade, Idaho.
Steven's on your leg now.
Gosh, you know what? Fine.
And
let
I
him.
was at a women's retreat for our church. It was really fun. We had almost 70 women.
Where was it at again?
Cascade, Idaho.
Cascade, Idaho.
And we talked about it previously on our last podcast. If you guys didn't listen to it, you should. It was a really fun one. But I did a workshop on boundaries. So we talked a little bit about that in there. But
Yeah,
it went really
recap that.
well. I am not going to lie. I got really nervous because I have a hard time just speaking in general. I don't love it. But when I
Well, you're doing it
get
right
up
now.
there, I do. I know, right? But especially on topics.
Maybe it's because you're in Cascade, Idaho.
Especially on topics where people can have different opinions, and also with women too. It's hard. So, because I'm a teacher, so with kids, put me in front of a million kids.
Wow,
even
a million?
youth, whatever.
Think about that for a minute.
No, don't go down that road.
Okay.
You know what I mean. A bunch of kids, even youth, because Justin is a youth pastor and we worked together in youth ministry for years. I'm good. But when you get adults and you get women, it's intense. At least for me, I really have a hard time with it. So I was really nervous, but it went really well. At the end of it,
I
we
heard
did
some good feedback, by the way.
Oh, good.
From Peoples.
People's been talking
Peoples
to
were
you.
texting me.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Yeah.
People were just on the side your wife needs to get off the stage. But we did a panel at the end, which I was really excited about because I love workshops that are interactive. That's my favorite part. I love hearing, just people asking questions and being on the spot. And it was funny because I asked 4 ladies that I know and love just to come up and help me out with that, so it's not all on me. So that took a lot of the pressure off. So that was really nice. But it's kind of scary because there's this one question we got, and Justin's mom was the one that kind of passed around the mic, and she's like, okay, who wants to answer that? And it was just took everybody's kind of thinking through it for a little bit. And it was really scary. When you're on the spot, that's the only thing that I'm oh my gosh, I'm glad I had help with that. But one of the ladies answered it and I was wow, that was so good. So it went really well. It brought up really good conversations.
Everyone's going to want to know what the question is.
Oh, what she asked. It was it wasn't a one question. It was a long story.
Oh, okay,
something
okay.
she went
A
through.
scenario
It was
kind
a
of thing.
scenario. And she's
Okay.
how would I handle this?
We don't worry about talking about that then.
No, yeah, it was pretty long.
Yeah.
But afterwards, it brought up a lot of good conversations because we went right up to lunch, and I had a girl come sit next to me, and she read the book I talked about. It's called Boundaries by Henry Cloud
We'll
and
link
John
it below. I know
Townsend.
there was a lot of you interested in that book.
Yeah.
Our last podcast. So
Yeah, so I showed the book, and they've got different ones boundaries with kids, boundaries with marriage.
It's really good. Honestly,
really
the boundaries
good
with
one.
kids is something that we're going to be reading together.
We'll have to
I
do
think,
that
soon.
one. That would be cool because a few ladies asked me, "Have you read one of his specific ones?" And I haven't yet.
But the just the boundaries. If you need boundaries in your life, this is a good book to read.
It is really good one. and really practical. And I love how he lays it out. And if our view of life, like we have a biblical perspective on it, so it gives a biblical perspective, which I love. But anyways, a girl came up to me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I read that book," and she's like, she like really helped me out with things. And so we had really good conversation, and so it went really well. And overall, like I couldn't have asked for a better outcome, I guess. So I didn't have any negative feedback, at least that I heard about. Maybe they'll come tell you.
What was something that was like, like a synopsis, like one thing that you shared, because we talked about boundaries last podcast, but what was another thing you kind of shared? What's
interesting is something that came out of it I didn't think, and more people came up to me about this area than anyone I thought. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay. Was boundaries with work. And I was really shocked because I honestly almost took it out of my notes. I'm like, I don't know if I'll hit this. And then I just really felt like I needed to share some things because of my personal story of things I went through. And so many women came up to me like, "Oh my gosh, when you brought up that part with work, that was so good."
Like work and life balance kind of thing?
Because I talked about practically like things you might need to do, whether that's don't check your email on the weekend or when you are, contracted, if you're doing a certain job and, people ask you to do this and this and this, like knowing like you have the freedom to say no for like extracurricular. And I'm really speaking to teachers because a teacher's like job, like their hats are crazy. So many. So it was
you
funny.
Guys are working overtime.
And then it's like, well, you need to be at the fundraisers. Well, you need to be doing the jogathons. You need to be doing the this and this and that. And so it's like can go on. But I just talked about, honestly, I grew up just feeling, I don't know. I had a really hard time with any bosses I've ever had. And I think this is a good thing because it's a biblical thing. It talks about in the Bible too, just like, like submitting to those in authority over you and obeying them. And like, I've always been very respectful of those that have been like in authority over me in like the workplace. Like my bosses, I always wanted to like impress. I wanted to leave like a good stamp. Like I wanted to be, oh man, I just had that in me. I always wanted to be like, Lacey was the best. We always want her back. You know what I mean? That was just me and just how I tick. So I was almost doing that to a default, like a deficit to myself though, because I wouldn't think about like, is this actually going to hurt me? Or, then I got married and my family because I'm worried so much about like, being almost like a people pleaser. So finding the freedom and balance in that. And so there's a lot of good conversations that came out of it. Actually, one scenario I thought about, I didn't bring this up, was when I first started teaching, I had to get like everything ready in my class. And I remember finding like this desk or something on Craigslist, and I had Justin come with me and go like pick it up. And it was like a really long drive. And then we had to put it in the truck, and we had busy lives. And it was funny because Justin's like, just know, Lacey, like you don't have to like put all of this on yourself. Like I was just trying to do so much just because I just needed everything to be, like perfect in my classroom. And there was just so many things I was doing outside of what I was even getting paid. And again, with teachers, I do understand that. But I really struggled in that area of just putting up healthy boundaries so that, I actually had time to rest too. So it was good. I think a lot of women could relate with that in certain areas in their life too. So that got brought up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, work and life balance is huge, and it's different in different workplaces and cultures and all that kind of stuff. But end of the day, you're gonna have to set that. Especially when you're off the clock kind of thing. I mean, there's some jobs that it's like you're kind of on call a lot too, and so being able to have those healthy boundaries when you're off the clock, if you will, but know that if you're on call, make sure that you're getting the help you need and the rest you need and all that kind of stuff too. And so I think that's just what it is, just making sure that you're not getting, overburdened in those areas, and just kind of, check yourself, reset. Because ultimately, like, you want to do a good job when you're at work. And if you're just like barely making it, I guarantee you're not doing a good job at work. Like there's more you can give, is what I'm trying to say. And so taking that time of rest is, we can talk about like, God, he created the heavens and the earth, in 6 days, and he rested the seventh, and the importance of rest, like he modeled that for us. And we have such a hard time in our culture on like our day off to actually just rest.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to hit the to-dos still, and we're trying to catch up on work and all this kind of stuff. For me, rest is a little bit different. And I think that's okay too, to know what that means. Just making sure that you're resting. Like for me, working with my hands is actually restful, believe it or not, because Steven is everywhere right now. There's like multiple Stevens.
I was going to say there's 2 Stevens.
But for me, like, doing a lot of things with like design or, editing or studying or whatever that is, working with my hands doesn't happen. What do I do with my hands? And so for me, like mowing the lawn or, doing some kind of like project, which we'll talk about what we just did in the studio, things like that, like helps me rest. And so I think you just have to like figure that out. Like what makes you rest? And I ask that to Lacey all the time. I'm like, when she's feeling overwhelmed or something like that, I'm like, what is it that makes you like feel, like Lacey, And maybe that's
Refueled.
Just going out and doing some shopping or getting your nails done or whatever that means. Like what makes you like feel like you can just be at rest? And I think that's important.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The movie The Devil Wears Prada? I love that movie so much. Movie. I feel like I need to watch that again. It's one of those I just pop in here and there with Anne Hathaway. But remember how she like had like, the craziest boss. Like everybody was like scared of her, but she was like
that's a good fall time movie for some reason.
Determined to like impress her.
Yeah.
But by the time she got to that point, like she was losing her relationships and her friendships. Like I know I was thinking about that with the whole boundaries with work too, because I'm like you can easily just like, as far as at least I go, would be like, I'm going to do everything I can to like make you know I'm the best, and then you just like put everything down and like priorities are like messed up and stuff.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, it's all about a priority.
Yeah.
The priority game, like making sure your priorities are correct is really what that is.
Yeah.
So what are your priorities? What should they be, and what are they right now? I think that's really what it is. And I think a lot of the times our priorities are completely just, out to lunch.
Yeah.
So anyway.
This is a good conversation. And then we also saw outside of our cottage, if you watch our vlog we just posted on Tuesday, you'll see some footage of it, but we saw a buck like right next to our cottage. It was so pretty, and it was just so peaceful. It was like just like walking out there. It's crazy how quiet they are. So I got a pretty good shot of that if you want to see it. But it was really fun. We had beautiful weather too. It was like perfect.
Well, it's been really smoky.
Fall air. It rained the night before we went up. So
that's what I was saying. It's nice. It rained, so that way it kind of cleared the air out. Because Cascade, Idaho is, I mean, you go up there because it's like, you can breathe. It's the fresh air. You can see the stars at night, all that. I'm away from the city, but when it's smoky, that all goes out the window. Yeah. So the fact that it cleared out is perfect. Yeah. Did you see the stars at night? Or was it still kind of cloudy?
I don't think I did. I don't know. I
did you even look up?
I never looked.
Well, that's the first thing I do when I'm in Cascade, Idaho.
Really? Well, what's funny is where our cottage was, to get to the area where we did like our sessions and eating and stuff, it's like a little bit of a walk. We would always drive like every time I didn't walk. Okay,
when you say a little bit of a walk, it really isn't that. It's not that long. It's
really
of a walk.
Dark though.
Okay.
It's really scary. One time, 2 years ago, when I brought my daughter Juniper because I just had her, so she came with us. I was pushing her in the stroller with that walk from the session to the cabin. And there's no lights. And I remember I was holding my phone as a light and trying to push the stroller. And I started crying because I was so scared because I was like going off the trail. I still talk about it. And actually your sister and my sister were laughing about it because like, we felt so bad. We left you. And so now they're like, we'll never leave you. I'm like, thanks. Like 1 year I needed you and I had a stroller. So I think I'm just scared to do that walk
now. You don't look up, you just like look straight.
I just get in the car. I'm like, we're driving back to the cottage. I'm not screwing the walk.
Well, that's the first thing I do when I go to Cascade, Idaho, is I look up because it's the stars at night. It's beautiful.
It is.
So next time you go there, look up.
I'll do that next year.
It's the stars. I mean, come on.
Okay, so what everybody really wants to know, Justin, is how did you survive without me here with 3 kids and a dog and a household? How was it? Because you looked very tired last night.
Everyone survived.
You were dead last night when I got home, though. You were like, I am so exhausted.
Okay, but my weekend wasn't like I could just like put my feet up. Like it wasn't a weekend where I was like, okay, yes, I have all 3 kids, hang with the kids, but we're just gonna sit at home.
Right.
No, I had Landon's football practice
Yeah.
with all 3 kids.
Yeah.
By myself.
Yeah.
I had Landon's football game with 3 kids.
I forgot about the practice too. How did that go?
Yeah.
Did she do okay, Junie?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
she's fine, but she's not at the age where you can just sit her down.
Yeah, she's everywhere.
She wants to go explore. So she found ducks at the practice. She loved the ducks. Aww. It was kind of cute though, so we were kind of hanging out with the ducks.
Yeah.
But she was like, "What are these things?"
Yeah.
They're just like looking at her, and she's looking at them, and they're like kind of the same height. It's funny. But there was that in the game, you know. There it is. I mean, it was just a lot. It was a lot of loading the kids up, unloading, loading the kids up, unloading, loading the kids up, unloading. And so I went on, Walmart delivery groceries and got a bunch of stuff to get us through the weekend, some essentials. Like Dorito chips and Twix ice cream bars and essential stuff.
The essentials.
I actually got a TV dinner that I haven't had since I was in college, and it was like macaroni and cheese and like the little what's it called?
Like a meatloaf?
No, it was like what is it called? The steak, the
Salisbury steak. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I used to get those in college for some reason. And it tasted so good.
Did it really?
Yeah, it was so. I mean, it's probably terrible. Everyone's like, "Are you kidding me?" But for some reason, like, it brought me back to college. And I also got the boys' TV dinners too.
Did you get them? The kind with the brownie with the sprinkles.
Yeah, it's so unhealthy. It's so bad for you. But like, they look forward to. It's a tradition. Whenever Lacey goes out of town or she's traveling, I always give them TV dinners, and they cannot wait. It has little hot dogs and corn. Oh, yeah. And then the brownie with the sprinkle. Terrible, but they ate everything.
Did they really like it?
Yeah, it was hilarious. Junie's the only thing that I actually made something from scratch, quote unquote.
All right, like mac and cheese.
No, it was actually it was actually just leftover spaghetti.
Oh, nice.
That you made.
Perfect.
Anyway, but it was good. So when we were at the game though, it was challenging because the games are about an hour and a half.
They're long games, yeah.
And
then you have to get there early.
All that kind of stuff. So we're there for probably about 2 hours. Anyway, it was hard because I'm trying to watch Landon and I'm trying to get like some video of him because we like to watch. He likes to watch afterwards, like his plays and like highlight reel. And so trying to do that. I was trying to keep eye on Tucker because he has a couple of friends now he plays with.
Yeah.
And then also Jack. Junie is just. Her whole thing was collecting leaves. Oh. So she would run, find a leaf, come back to me. And she loved that game. And that was perfect. Everything was going great because where she was running was like right in my eyesight. So it was just easy. And then she got bored of that. And she decided to just do her thing. And then your brother's girlfriend came. And so she helped Junie quite a bit. Oh, and so that was like awesome because
she's great with kids.
She's great with kids and it was awesome. And I was just like, thank God, because I need some help. But Junie is just crazy. And she was just like sliding in mud, doing her thing. So her butt was just caked with mud.
Oh my gosh.
Because she's just like, I guess what she did, what she was doing is she was like, how she jumps up and then jumps back on down her butt. She was doing that in mud, and then she was scooting her butt in the mud, just like laughing, loving life. And so literally she just was just mud everywhere.
So that explains her shoes that are covered in mud in the garage that I saw.
Yep.
Nice.
So here I am, like keeping my eye on Junie, keeping my eye on Tucker, and cheering for Landon all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just mentally exhausting because not to mention physically with all 3 kids loading them up, and I had where the football field was at, we had to walk really far, and so I had the wagon, and I'm like carrying Junie and Tucker, have Landon's football gear, and we're like, it's just what it was. So anyway, so we got home. Well, actually, we went to the car wash and. Because she was all muddy, so I vacuumed all around her in the truck. Yeah.
Along with the garlic that exploded in your car from the pizza.
Oh, that's another story. Sunday, after church, I went and just grabbed a pizza because the game was starting and stuff, and went to Papa John's. They had the little garlic sauce. But it took me a little bit to go pick it up because I had to go pick them up at your mom's house because your mom was watching them because I had to get to church like super early in the morning, like at 6 a.m. to set up because we're in tents. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of you know that, but like our church is meeting on our church property as we're building our church in a tent. And so there's a lot of setup in the morning. So, I ordered the pizza. I got done like so fast. I'm like, why this time does the pizza get done so fast? Anyway,
Right.
so I went to go pick up the kids. Went back to Papa John's to pick up the pizza, and I think it was under the heat lamps a little too long. And so the garlic sauce exploded. But I didn't know that. They didn't know that. And then put it in the truck, and I was just like seeing like this leak coming out.
Oh.
And sure enough, it completely just like drenched the pizza with the garlic and also my seat.
Oh, nice.
So there was that.
That'll smell beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
But we survived.
You did.
But I was tired.
Yeah, you were exhausted.
If we were just hanging around the house, like, you know,
yeah,
we have
it's
our
hard
routines
to get to places.
But
loading
she,
them
yeah,
up.
she didn't have a normal scheduled time because she had to go to the football game, so she couldn't like sleep when she usually sleeps, and so everything kind of got adjusted. Which honestly, let's talk about that. We are really big in like our kids following our schedule. They're now ultimately we try to find rhythms and routines because normally it's like, you know, with life you have like your normal routines and rhythms and you know your morning routines, your day to day, and so we keep them at that. But when there's things like this, what are you gonna do? Yeah. So it's like, no, she's gonna adjust with our schedule, and it's fine. And she slept super good that late afternoon. Nice. So I was able to come and do some work in the studio. The kids were playing with some neighbor friends, and so I had like actually some like.
You got like the lawn mowed too,
I got the lawn mowed, so I was able to get the lawn mowed when she was sleeping, clean up the house, all that kind of stuff. Did a bunch of laundry, and did stuff in the studio, and so I had that time to work with my hands where I felt I was able to rest. Yeah. I honestly needed that Saturday night, like just a little, like a few hours, and she slept so good. I had to actually wake her up. Wow. She slept so good. Nice. I'm like, maybe we should do later naps than earlier naps.
Yeah. She's been going back and forth, I know.
She has, but again, she's so used to us with, you know, having to change the schedule, and she just flows with that. Right. That is true. And I don't know. That's what I love about doing that. Yeah. You know, is that
they can adjust easily.
They do adjust really easily. Yeah. So.
Well, I can see I came home to a clean house. It was very nice.
Oh, and we decided
candles were lit
to clean the boys' room.
You did. You went through, and last night he was like, what did you say to them? You had like two phrases. You were like, keep or toss or donate or something. No, and they just went through like all.
I just made it really simple for them. I said, throw away or put away.
Throw away or put away. That's what it was.
And now today we're going to take that throwaway pile, and we're going to go through it again and actually find things that are good to give away.
There was just some things in their room that, man.
But having multiple choices, if I'm like, give away, throw away, you know, they're going to be, what?
Donate.
So I'm like, throw away, give away. Because in their minds, they're throwing it away. Right. And we went through, and I was really proud of them, 2 like kitchen size garbage bags of stuff that they were going to give away / throw away.
Yeah, it needed to be done.
Well, it's just because, you know, birthdays and Christmases have happened since we've done that last. And there's just a lot of stuff they don't play with anymore, but it's there and exists. Right. You know, or things that are broken, you know how it is, or random like Lego boxes that the Legos are in their like Lego bin, but their boxes are still there.
Yeah, stuff like that.
So anyway, it felt really good, and still have some work. I think today the boys and I are going to go to Lowe's because, you know, come on. And we're going to get buy a shelf. Yeah. And we're going to I had this idea of putting all their Toy Story, like, you know, Buzz Lightyear, Woody,
Slinky.
Rex.
They have them all.
Put all those on a shelf.
I've always wanted to do that, so that would be cool.
And because whenever we go to Disney, we always buy a new Toy Story, like, toy. Yeah. And I'm so bummed about Zurg, because we had Zurg, but it broke. We'll have to buy that next. But we buy them in the parks, and we do that because it's a cool, like, memory. They're expensive as heck, but it is. And so I'm like, they don't really play with them. They do play with them.
Tucker does, actually.
He does, but instead of them,
probably will before you know
they will. But instead of them just being thrown in the toy box, might as well display them, and then they can take them off to play. Right. But that way they're kind of somewhat protected. Yeah. I'm not really. I want them to play with them. Yeah. They're not for display only.
No, I know what you mean.
But they'll look kind of cool in there.
Yeah, I know. I almost want to be like, hey, should we take them? I'm looking at our shelf, but we have enough going on.
Dude, we have
and
so
actually,
much.
Another thing you did while I was gone is our new pin board. Yes. That you can watch that in our vlog as well if you want to see it. But we've had, you know, Disney
put some pins over this too.
And stuff from our lanyards and trips, and we've been talking about displaying it in here forever. So Justin got some really cool boards, and it looks really good.
So it was on Friday. It was Friday. You left. Junie was still sleeping. The boys are at school still, and I came in here, and it's funny because I was just in this mode of like doing something different. You know how we get in this.
Oh, it's fall. I know you do.
And so I was just looking around like, what can I change in the studio?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, everything's pretty like set. Like there's no furniture to move. And then I looked up at our spot where our shelves are and stuff. And I'm just like, this is such empty space.
Yeah.
Maybe I should get another shelf. And I was thinking about that.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, kid you not, we have like some of our pens like on this like corkboard map kind of thing that we're thinking about putting up. One of them fell, and it was pin side up.
Oh yeah.
And I stepped on it, and the pin went right through my foot. Like I was wearing socks, went right through.
Did you do the Home Alone and grab your foot?
Yeah, it hurt so bad. I'm just
fall
like,
backwards.
And I take it out, and it was like it was like a Mickey Mouse pin. I'm like, gosh dang it! And I was just like, oh my gosh. It literally was like one of the apple falling on the tree on your head kind of moment.
Yeah, and like give you an idea.
Yeah, and so then I went on Amazon. Like there has to be like a custom like cork boards or something like that. Yeah,
because we have these like slats that go down from the shelves. Yeah, so you like were able to cut it to fit it. It looks great. Yeah. I love it. It looks like it's been needing that all along. It needed something.
Yeah, it completes the ensemble.
It completes the ensemble.
Name that movie.
Yes. But your sister did a really good Santa Claus one at the retreat. Sorry, whatever.
It's Santa Claus.
No, but somebody said on the microphone, they're like, name. And she was like, Santa Claus. Name.
Scott Calvin.
Scott Calvin. Name. We were laughing.
Oh, good.
Anyways.
But yeah, it looks super custom. And they're very cheap on Amazon. They come in different colors. They're really cool material. It is satisfying to actually poke a pen through. But we also found like our old school fast passes that we kept. So
those are up there. Yeah. Also like pins from like anniversaries, birthdays. So it's nice to have a variety of stuff.
But honestly, I thought we had a lot more pens than we did. Yeah. So now we're gonna be in the whole
Which
pen
means
collector.
We need to go to Disneyland and get
I'm like,
some more.
I never thought I always like looked at the idea and I kind of just like oh, I would never get into pen collecting. And now I understand when you have a space for it,
then you need
to fill it.
Yep.
So I'm really excited.
Yeah.
To go get some more.
I know.
Hopefully real soon, if you know what I mean. Cheers.
I'm like late to the game.
Cheers.
Okay, should we answer some of you guys' questions now? I think we've gotten you guys all up to speed of everything.
Yeah, it was a good week.
It was.
How was your guys' week? Let us know below. If you are listening to the podcast, thank you so much. And if you're listening, there's a lot of you who listen on Apple Podcasts. I say high majority. Some on Spotify and some others. A majority is Apple. Would you mind taking a moment? Maybe you're driving right now. When you get to a safe place, could you just give us a review? You can do like the 5 stars, which we love 5 stars. Those are the best. But also if you actually comment something, that would be awesome. You just go like to our main page on Apple Podcast and down, you scroll down a little bit and you can actually put the review in. That would help us a ton because we're really trying to grow this podcast. So, and if you are listening, but you want to be part of the conversation, you can go to our YouTube channel because we have a video podcast as well. And you can type below on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, because we're trying to do this once a week is the goal. Yeah.
Oh, we haven't even talked about that, have we?
I don't know if we have.
On this, I think we talked about I don't even know. We're trying to do a podcast once a week.
Yeah.
Is that going to work out? I don't know. But because we're changing the podcast to be more like this kind of conversation.
Coffee chat style, it's more doable.
It's more doable.
Okay, so this one's from Jordan Corin. Saw 21 Pilots this weekend. What are your top 3 fave songs? Best show ever. Wasn't that a great show? Gosh. That was they did a great job. I still have been pulling up my phone and like watching old videos from it because I'm like, oh man, they did a great job.
Yeah, it's one of those shows where definitely it was a memory maker in the making, you know?
And since the show, I've been like listening to Clancy way more because...
Which is the album.
The newest album, because now like those songs have like come alive to me in a different way now that I saw him perform them.
Yeah.
So I'm loving, and I know you already love this one, but what's the Oldies Station one? Is that what it's called?
Oldie Station.
Oldie Station. So that would be one of them.
So good.
Oh man, every time it comes on, it's just I love it. Let me pull up the album so I can think of the other ones.
Are we talking about just the new album or like?
No, they said what are your top 3 favorite songs? But honestly, man. I would put that even in my top 3, even though I love a lot from is it Blurry Face album that I think I like.
Face.
But with Clancy, I'm really liking the last one too, Paladin's Is that how you say it? Paladin Strait? Paladine. Okay. And then the other one is Routines in the Night. I'm really like, and I also like Midwest Indigo.
I don't know if I can answer this question.
Yes, you can.
No, I honestly don't know. But like, let me take a stab at it. I think I really do like Saturday from the Skilled and Icy album.
Okay, that's a good one.
And I like Tearing My Heart by Blurry Face. I love Car Radio by the Vessel album. Oldie Station. You know, I like Level of Concern, the single. I don't know. It's really hard for me to do this. I'm like stressing out right now.
Honestly, one of my favorite.
Because I have a thing where it's like people are gonna be like, why wouldn't you choose this one? I'm like, I know, right? I like them all. Can I say that?
But Vessel, the album with isn't that their grandpas on the front album cover? I love that one. But Holding On to You, which they did that one in the concert, is probably in my top 3 as well. Sorry, you said 3 and I've named like 50. So sorry, Jordan.
Yeah, they're Mulberry Street. I love Mulberry Street. It is hard to. What are yours? If you guys listen to 21 Pilots, what are your top 3 songs? Yeah, they're good. It was a great concert.
All right, this is JG04. Wait, is this Joey?
Yeah.
Okay, Joey, what's up? JG104. Joey, what's up? What's your most anticipated Disney movie coming out this next year?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question, Joey.
I would say Moana 2.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for Moana 2. Sorry, it's still yours. I know you're really excited about it too. I love the music, and also it just brings us back because when the first one came out, we were about to go on a cruise and it's happening again. So it's just like bringing up all of those feelings.
And we're probably going to be able to watch Moana 2 on the cruise.
We probably will be.
Which would be awesome.
The other one I'm really interested in, and I have mixed feelings because I'm not like huge into like the live action of these.
Oh, Mufasa.
Is the Mufasa. Yeah, because the Lion King, I was just like, it struggled a little bit with how much CGI and stuff. But I'm really interested in his story because Mufasa is just a boss, and so I just want to know what they're gonna do with that.
I want to know about like
his origins.
Yeah, well, like when he was young, Mufasa.
Yeah.
Like what made him Mufasa?
Why? How did he become the top? How did
top dog?
What do kids call top dog now? What's the new slang?
Top dog.
No. I was talking to a mom this weekend, and she said her junior higher calls them something else. Oh, alpha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was saying it's the alpha, and her mom was like, "We used alpha too. It's basically the top dog." She's like, "No, mom, it's the alpha.
It's
like
the alpha
like
and
they're
omega.
They're the best." And she's like,
alpha,
"You mean
I've
like
heard
top dog?" So we were like laughing about that.
But dog is still a thing. I don't know if you call it top dog. So I think you're a dog.
Okay.
I don't know. Joey would probably know.
But alpha's a thing now.
Yeah. Hey Joey, comment below.
Is alpha
a thing? Because
so would you say Mufasa is like the alpha?
Joey's. I literally fact check Joey, or Joey fact checks me on these words.
He's the one to know.
He's like, another one that Joey and I were talking about the other day, actually, speaking of Joey, another word that they use, and it's called gas, but you only use it when you eat food. So like if you're sitting there and you're like, man, that fettuccine was gas. But I'm just like, that makes me think of like just farting.
I think of gas in your gas tank, like fuel.
Well, yeah, but also when you think of like, when you're relating it to food, I think of like cutting the cheese or something.
Right.
But yeah, you only use, that's gas if you're referring to food.
But if it's like good,
you can't say like oh man, that Disney movie was gas. You don't say in that context. You only say it regarding food. So that burrito is gas. But again, I'm just like, that Taco Bell is gas. Are we talking about tooting here? No, we're talking about that it was like fire, basically. It's like the new fire.
When do you ever say tooting? I've never heard you say
Well, I just
tooting.
don't want to offend people if I say farting.
Because that's offensive.
Who knows nowadays, Lacey?
I don't think it's offensive as
we could get canceled. We could get canceled saying farting instead of tooting.
So you're saying tooting.
I mean, who knows? Okay.
Oh my gosh.
We're in the cancel culture.
Yeah, we do.
Where's our Z Roll? Oh, they got canceled because Justin said farting. Yeah.
They're gone.
I think another one is the live, if we're talking about live action, the Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love Lilo and Stitch. And I love sci-fi. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe they can make this like cool. Like a really cool like alien sci-fi vibe. Like suspense.
No.
I think that'd be cool though.
I don't think
What if they make it like super suspense and sketchy?
No.
Like an Aliens movie?
Stitch is like a cuddly little...
But no, he's not. He's vicious, dude.
I know, that's true.
But what if there is a little bit of suspense to it? I think they could do that route. They can go a little bit like more suspenseful because he's a terror.
Yeah, but it's more of like a toddler terror, not like a scary alien
terror. No, I understand that, but I mean E.T. though.
Yeah, that's true. We could go that route.
Yeah. Anyway, Mufasa, Lilo and Stitch, Moana 2 though. I think is what I'm really excited about. Ambitious Lim Story said, please tell me the best and worst airlines you flew with. First time ever flying, American, and it was bad.
Oh, yeah. We've had really bad
American
experience
trash?
with American Airlines, too.
Oh, no, it's American Trash.
It was
is what
horrible.
It's called.
Is that the one you flew home on with Israel,
no,
too? Okay.
It was United.
Okay. But you had bad experience with
United,
that one, too.
Yes, United and American Trash are, in my humble opinion, are the worst airlines I've ever flown in.
Yeah. What would you say is the best?
Well, I think like Alaska or Delta.
We've always had great experiences with Alaska.
Yeah, and Delta. We have the Alaska credit card for like points for airlines and stuff. You get like a companion fare once a year, like for like $99. So basically, I can buy a ticket for anywhere, and then it's only like $100 plus tax or something like that for the second. It's great, but I've actually been toying with the idea of doing Delta because Delta has. It seems like when we fly, especially being in Idaho, Delta has better prices on tickets in Alaska sometimes. Sometimes not, but having Delta and Alaska going kind of ping-ponging back and forth, I think would be kind of nice.
Our tickets that we got to go to Florida to go on our cruise were through Alaska, correct?
Yeah, they're Alaska.
Yeah, we got really good deals with that one, though.
And that's the first time that they're actually doing nonstop from Idaho, which is awesome. So anyway, I think those are the best. But yeah, I'm not gonna say I'll never fly with United or American Trash because honestly, I'm going to Romania next year, and it's probably going to be United.
Really?
Most likely. I'm hoping Delta. We're actually trying to get. We're talking with Delta right now and trying to get some good rates.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it's Delta, but it's either going to be Delta or United, unfortunately. But United, that was a whole issue with coming back from Israel. Was United. And that was
I'm trying
terrible.
to think when we flew America Airlines and we had a bad experience, which trip that was. But I remember after it, we were like, nope, never again.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I try to block those things out
so
of my mind.
We do understand you with that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's frustrating. Honestly, like I am still kind of freaking out a little bit about our trip to Disney Treasure because usually as nowadays, because of how airlines are so crazy, we fly maybe 2 days before and we're only flying 1 day.
We'll be fine.
We'll get there and then we'll get there like in the late afternoon, evening, but then the cruise goes the next morning.
Yeah. And I'm not worried about it.
I am.
I know you
are.
I know you are. It usually goes that way. When I'm worried, he is. When I'm worried, he isn't. When he's worried, I am not.
Yeah, I am. I'm honestly thinking about calling Alaska and be like, hey, is there any flights 2 days before?
Be fine. We don't need to pay for another hotel for another night.
I know, but what if we miss the cruise? Because
and the boys can't miss any more school. We're good.
With living in Idaho, you have to think through that kind of stuff because
I know
the flights, especially with this being new with the direct flight situation. I'm like, but you think with a direct flight, it's better than having like multiple flights.
Because then you're more at a risk at another layover for something happening.
You would think. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're going to just do a couple more of these questions and we'll save some questions for next time.
Yes, we'll save them for next week because we're going to be doing this again, I think.
Yeah. Because we
talked about our weekend too long.
I guess. I don't know. Hopefully you guys are still with us. If you're with us, thank you.
Yeah.
If you're with us right now and you're watching on YouTube, put down a plane emoji. Okay? Just see if you guys are still here. Appreciate that. So, Laugh Him Tours, I think that's how you say it. Have you ever had to end a friendship? Yes.
And yes.
Yes. This could be a huge conversation, and so I think it kind of goes back to like the boundaries you're talking about. There are some times you have to have healthy boundaries, and the person, I think there's different scenarios for different people, so don't just take our opinion for what's going on in your life. But this person was toxic and confronted them multiple times. I even brought people with me like to talk as well. It was like this thing where we like really try to work stuff out, but it was continuing being toxic, and it had to be a spot where it's like, I'm sorry, but it can't happen anymore.
And I talked about this a little bit too when I shared about boundaries with friendships, because there's some friendships that can be really like draining on you. The ones that are always like manipulating, like, why don't you make time for me? You never have time for me. You're always so busy. And I'm like, man, like that makes me feel like such a bad friend. Like friends don't like the friendships that do that to you. It's just really, it's really difficult, like the manipulation. And so there's been times where I've had things too, like Justin said, they were just toxic, and it had to be to a point where I would not just, be like, oh, I'm done with you. I would address things and go to them on these issues. And it was always, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. And then, it would get to the point where there just wasn't that change. And so we had to part ways, and it was just not good on me. And sadly, I'm still not friends with some of these people, but there's been friendships too where they've, come back around in our life again too. It just, like Justin said, depends on the situation, the scenario. So I'm not sure with what yours is that you're dealing with or trying to navigate how to end that friendship, but it's really hard, especially if you've been friends with them a long time and you have history. But I think that it just goes down to, you do need to just really kind of step outside and say, is this friendship really making, me a better person? Or is it one of those things that's just like, oh, like Justin talked about, like a really kind of toxic situation where it's just draining you and depleting you? Because friendships shouldn't do that. I think they should be something that, do the opposite.
I would honestly recommend picking up that book, Boundaries.
On Friends.
And read through that and just kind of look at your scenario and then make decisions based on that. It really puts in perspective and just the right way to do it as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's hard to be. I was actually talking to someone about this at church yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Because they asked for prayer about something related to this. They have to actually have a conversation. And it's hard. It's just it's a hard thing. And we all hope that just goes well. We hope that you come to an agreement with stuff and both parties are, I always believe that conflict creates creativity. Like, I think if we can come into it with conflict is actually good because there's two different perspectives coming together.
Yeah.
But as long as you can actually work through that, but there's sometimes you just can't. You just can't.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Well, I think we have to just go, you may think you're right, I may think I'm right, but end of the day, we may have to just go a different direction.
Right, exactly.
And that's okay sometimes, but.
Yeah, and I think also too, and I talked to somebody about this, and you could, in the end, honestly, it could be helping them by taking a stand and saying, look, I can't be friends with you right now until like this and this change. And in the end, if they want to look in the mirror and be like, wow, I didn't realize I was really doing that was hurtful. And they, are able to like, help, work on some things themselves. That's awesome. And I think sometimes we're enabling people by allowing them to treat us the way they treat us. You know what I mean? And being like, that's okay. You can just walk all over me all the time. It just comes to a point. And I do believe in grace and I do believe in forgiveness, but I think there's a balance where you need to stand up, be like, that's actually not okay the way you're treating me. And they're probably doing it to other people as well, but some people just don't want to, nobody wants to stand up to people. It's hard. And so if you're able to do it in a loving way, that's so huge because maybe it's going to end up helping them in the future.
Yep.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll end on one more. There's there's ones that are popping in because we asked you on Instagram. We
just did that this morning. Yeah.
And they're like popping. There's some good ones. I think next week we'll do some more of these. But this next one, it was actually on YouTube, and it's Cami Blackmon 2646. Are you guys done having kids?
We just talked about this the other day with my friends too.
Well, what's funny is your dad, when we were watching the football game with Landon, my dad and your dad were there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and they're having their little fun times with each other and stuff.
Yeah.
And your dad, I think it was your dad, asked me like, "Are you guys done having kids?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah. And
then my dad's like, "Well, unless there's like a miracle." I'm like, "Yeah. Well, let's pray that there's no miracles."
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a funny a parent talk.
Yeah. That's funny because your mom was joking around about it too, about different things. They're like, oh yeah, unless you have another kid, and joking around with your sister. And we're both like, pretty sure you guys are done. These are your grandkids. You're done. You're welcome.
Congratulations. Here they are. We're moving on. But I think,
but yeah, we both feel like it's our family.
They always say like,
yeah.
And we honestly, when Junie, it was like the perfect, because like we really were trying for a girl. I mean, ultimately, healthy baby, that kind of thing. But
we would
like,
wanted to have a girl, yeah.
I think if we had another boy, we probably would have like entertained the idea for one more. I would have. But because of the girl, like, okay, that's perfect and rounds it all out. Call it a day, kind of a thing. And they say,
Yeah.
And I think we felt that. So
yeah.
But ultimately things can happen, I guess, but we're planning on no. We love to travel, and I think right now with the kids' age, it's great because, Landon and Tucker are more independent. They can help with Junie, and so it all kind of works out and stuff. But
yeah. However, though, Tucker was this like maybe a couple weeks ago. I think I told you this. He was like, Mom, I think you need to have another baby because Junie needs a friend. We need another sister. Like me and Landon have each other. Junie needs a friend. And I'm like, no, I don't think so, Tucker. And he's like, no, we need to.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm like, Junie can find some other friends.
We tossed around of like adoption. Like we have tossed that around. I think
fostering kids.
Yeah. And I don't know. That's a whole different thing for a different day. It's something that we've talked about, but we haven't really talked about.
Right now in our season with 3 kids, with the age they're at and a dog, I feel like we're pretty good right now. Who knows what the future may hold?
Yep.
But that's where we're at as of today.
Yes.
So more questions are popping in, and I just saw another good one, but I'm like, man, we'll have to save these because I don't know we're at our time. So we'll save some of these. If we didn't have your question on here today, watch next week or listen next week. So
I think it'd be kind of cool to maybe end with a couple questions, each podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't have them. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
This whole thing is new for us.
Right.
We're going and we're just seeing what this podcast turns into.
Right. We're just here to drink our coffee and hang out with you guys.
But anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Yes. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.